Okay, let's see how annoying things can get. I'm going to take a vacuum cleaner and scream into it. Anyway, well, I'm glad you have perhaps a better understanding of where people like myself and the other person are coming from. The one person we were referring to is a certain person and leader of this group. That group sprang up almost instantly from the day news broke about the tragedy and was already being called a hoax within hours of the story breaking. I remember a half-hour delay before Alex Jones first posted. So yeah, I noticed the same thing. And it was just people wanting to get ahead of the news cycle, because if they knew that their website had the subject matter, and they changed all the titles over the days, if you look at it for all the websites that you can still get archives of, they changed what they said in the lead to match whatever the news said. They keyworded it. It's search engine optimization. Next, it was already being called a hoax within a... Do you not feel that alone is suspicious? Yes, I think it's very suspicious in the motivations of the individuals being doing it. I don't see this as part of a group, except for the dirty half-dozen twistling their mustaches in the background that I've been complaining about for years. Conspiracy theorists that seem to prop each other up and boost each other up have all sorts of methodologies that me and the Logan Runnin have seen. We see them, one will post a story and the others will signal boost it. Then the other person gets the chance to lead the next story and they all signal boost them. They prop each other up because it makes it where they can monetize their channels and put up their GoFundMes at the time for everything else that I've looked up. But this doesn't seem any different. And blogs were used to promote things. They gamed the system. A school shooting of children, an instant conspiracy theory. It is absolutely absurd. I know most alt media are all snake oil salesmen, idiot drug addicted felons, but good God, it is suspicious how that was all in play so quick. All I saw was someone jumping on the news cycle, because at the time, and even today, that's how you become an influencer. These are the early versions of influencers. These are the people who figured out how to game the system. That's what they did. I hope you do understand that my comments on the shotgun were only to inform you on which firearm was in one of the three picks. I understand that, but that was not the subject matter of the video I was doing, and that's not what I was asked about. And it just seemed odd. But okay, cool. I did question how you couldn't know this. It wasn't relevant to the assertion in the video. It doesn't matter if I have stuff logged in a file over here on the right side of my screen at all times, or if it was, whatever. It wasn't considered a main component of what happened at Sandy Hook. That really wasn't. However, with the information you guys have provided about the Nancy Lanza thing, and that I totally blew it about the stupid peculiarity of grand juries being able to keep things secret and make things really suspicious. But I do appreciate you giving me the information. But I was on task, specific task. I don't keep an entire list of every single make, model, and almost and brand for Stephen Paddock's shooting either, because in essence there really was only a few guns in play done by the shooter. That's all. But anyway, that and the fact that the gun, even to other people casually looking at it, they don't identify it correctly, and it wasn't considered a major component of what happened. But anyway, we'll continue. As I know you've been around this topic for a long time now, I meant no ill will towards you. Well, okay, I'm going to assume best case scenario, and I'm going to assume definitely best foot forward on your part. I always try to do that with everybody, because I found that works much better. Because a lot of people feel embattled. Maybe you're used to idiots attacking you like some of us are as well. I think that's pretty much it. I think we all have just way too much shell shock. Let's keep the convo going. All we can do is learn together and hope to maybe one day fully understand the background that led up to this tragedy. For any of you not aware of this, I'm audio sensitive. Sometimes it depends on my mood or what I've eaten today. So sometimes I seem distracted or annoyed by something you've typed. It's not you, most of the time, unless I say it is. That's tomatoes. But anyway, here we go. I'm not. I am used to idiots attacking. I'm going to use that for the title of the video if I can squish it in there. There is a backstory, a motive, and possibly some very dirty dealings go on that led up to or even caused this to happen. Now that last part, I would need majorly compelling reasons to believe that, because, but then again, it's sort of like, I mean, we can understand mostly what Animal Lanza was thinking, kind of. Actually, sticking my head into it is just painful. It's still screwed up. I treat it like Paddock. We can know most likely answers, but Paddock's a good example of it. You never really know. So I don't try to make that assumption. Either way. Anyway. As for dirty dealings, it's a small town. There's going to be shit like that. I grew up, and everybody who's grown up in a small town knows that it's back alley politics all the way. We can't even attempt to prevent the next one without understanding what's up with this guy, what he was about, and who his friends were. People knew Adam, and he had friends. He was active on the internet. These are all things that have not ever been known to the general public. Why? That last part has got to do with them deliberately wanting to keep everybody from getting information about him. Oh, we have to lock this down every fucking time. Let's erase the social media. Let's erase his Facebook profiles. I mean, the least they could do is archive it and then just make it to where it's not active. No, they got to erase it before people like me archived it. I got in a lot of trouble with the internet police before doing archives of this stuff. They just don't want anybody second guessing them or whatever. For some reason, they don't like being video recorded. It could be said that maybe this was done so he would gain no post-mortem notoriety for the crime. Okay, a sympathetic move, if you will. And I can certainly, and surely, hold on, I'll wait. Okay. I understand to that extent, but not the extent that we have seen in this case. I agree. I am not in favor of deleting the data. I'm in favor of making it inactive so that people cannot interact with it and freeze it, which would be useful for everybody. It would freeze a moment in time right before and maybe during it happening. You think there may be nothing to this story, and that's fine. No, I didn't say that. I'm just saying that there are certain things that have been beaten to death and never went anywhere because they just don't have the ability to. So, and someone's going to start up a motorcycle in a minute. I'm just going to keep recording. Ow. Let me see here. Yeah. But as we see, still 7 years later, being in the headlines, and now this dog and pony show the families have going on with Alex Jones. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to call that not a dog and pony show with. It's a friggin' circus if I've ever seen one. I wish the damn story would just go the F away at this point, but it seems endless and still with no answers on way too many things. That last part, as far as things being held back or redacted, I agree. If somebody doesn't want there to be a long drawn-out controversy, they would end it by just giving the data and backing off. But unfortunately, groups of people that want a certain outcome, even if it's good intentioned, will never allow a lack of control over information. I no longer have any faith in it myself, but most of what we've gotten, that we've dug up and also that has been dumped, actually does indicate to me that at least mostly what we've been told is accurate. But then again, most of what we were told about 9/11 is accurate. It doesn't matter if it's dressed up and it's got frosting on top of it, it's still a shit pile, but it's still there. We can still use it, and it's, in general, fact-based. General. Anyway, next. You are correct. The investigation sucked. I want you to watch the APV Newtown FOA hearing. Oh, you got a link. I didn't see this. It is lengthy at 3 hours, but it's worth a watch. Okay, if I have to watch something 3 hours long, I'm going to save everybody else the trouble. No problem should have to be solved twice unless necessary. I'll make a video where I point out each point. Give me a few weeks, because honestly I need to be in a really good place to go through this. Oh, I'd like to point out another one. Someone who showed up on this channel or the other one, I don't remember which, who was at Las Vegas. I'm just going to insert this here. I decided to take a fresh look and look up the videos attributed to the guy. I can't tell if the YouTube channel is actually the same person. That's not relevant. And I get to hear those noises again, and it just makes it really hard to go through that again, but I'll do it. Because the assertion made by this person is that I lied about him seeing shell casings by the Tropicana, or accused him of lying. And depending on how I'm saying something or someone interprets it, that could be absolutely a correct statement from their perspective. So I'm going to go double check myself. I do this from time to time. I'll revisit something. I'll revisit Loch Ness. I can revisit this. It's just that one's much more painful to discuss. Anyway, were there any federal arrests related to the shooting at Sandy Hook that you know of? Pay attention to how that then 12-minute debate about that question, questionable objections by the state's attorney, how they needed to be worded. I didn't know about that. Well, actually, I kind of knew about it. I heard scuttlebutt about it. The thing about this is that they may have been cagey for an actual reason. The trouble is, again, a lack of transparency. They don't tell us why. I don't think that police departments or the governments or even local officials are capable of trusting the masses, because if you haven't noticed on the internet, we are incapable of being trusted, at least from what people play up. I mean, all the memeing going on tells people you don't tell the masses are stupid, scared people. But yeah, this is all very frustrating for me. We wouldn't be having this conversation if they would stop poorly redacting things or not documenting things to tell us whether it was really a redacted file or. And honestly, it's this many years later, why would you have a redaction on something? I'd like to hear your opinions, thoughts on what you saw play out there in the hearing room. And now knowing Nancy was involved in a federal grand jury relating to her firearms, hey, that was what they actually excluded for grand jury material. I'm still not able to truly interpret it that way, but I'm leaning towards that because, I mean, just reading how these proceedings go, it's just ripe for this shit. So, hey, if they're going to create an obvious rabbit hole for people to chase down, they should shut up and just get rid of the rabbit holes. So, yeah, but that is a gigantic hole I'd have to dig up. And you guys have already started it, so I just want to wait and see what you guys put out, to be blunt. I'm going to cheat and let you guys do it, but anyway. I'd like to know if, after watching that part play out, if you think that a federal arrest did take place directly related to the shooting at Sandy Hook, or it could have been this is the most charitable answer I can get. That doesn't mean it's accurate. Nancy Lanz's records, because she was dead, would be easier to procure and try to find out if anybody else could have been involved. One of the things everybody keeps forgetting is federal investigators and grand juries are required by any circumstance like this to investigate a conspiracy. They're supposed to go assume one just long enough to test it. Assume a conspiracy and test it. And what you do is you start with Adam Lanza, look up everything about him, his mom that he killed, all the guns. And you do that as a grand jury, let's say, and maybe you invoke the privacy rule so that every dead end gets ignored because you don't want it revealed, I guess. And that's as charitable as I'm willing to be about this stuff. I am dead set against secrecy when it comes to shit like this. But then again, these rules are tailored for, some incident in the area, somebody's kid gets killed, and nobody wants any information released unless the parent's okay with it. And I can't argue against that either. There's lots of parents involved. I mean, you got to understand that a lot of this, even though I don't agree with the secrecy, it's understandable sometimes. But anyway, the link the person left is ctnstate.ct.us/showinfo.asp !MDLD, and it's 2025-6. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with that, and thank you for tolerating my screw-ups.